on this back. Blessings. Excuse me. Blessings and happy Sabbath day. Always remember, Sabbath day, we're supposed to keep this day holy. This is a day of rest and recuperation. But above all, it's a day set aside giving glorification to the Most High God in heaven. We're not supposed to work on this day. We are supposed to keep the Most High God as the main focal point on this day. Keep this day holy. Steer away from negative thoughts on this day. You know, people might see you as the enemy, but do not match their energy. You know, see, we got to start thinking more like Christ and stop thinking in terms of the ways of this world. Do unto those as those do unto you. Nah. I'm not saying don't defend yourself if need be, but do not match energy with negative individuals. You know, the times we're in now, you're going to always have people try to do little things to get under your skin, all while pretending to be engaged in some type of action of normalcy when they're really just, you know, being a jerk, getting paid money to try to keep you aggravated, trying to cause a disconnect from Christ. So we cannot allow that to happen. We got to ignore those individuals, pray for them, and then we're going to keep it on pushing the way we keep it pushing. Because that's what we did. Oh yeah. In the spirit of the Almighty. Now, what are they trying to divert our attention away from, people? You know, it's funny. I've never in my life heard Gucci Mane on the news so, you know what I mean, this much. And then, you know, and then they go on the next level with it. Now they're trying to, now it's all, he made this song called Crash Dummy. So what are they trying to divert our attention away from? Because they're placing so much emphasis on this Gucci Mane situation and Pooh Shiesty. Situations that we really shouldn't even be caring about, or, you know, at all. For what? How does that benefit us, especially when it comes to Christ? Is that gonna, I mean, we can utilize it. How's everybody doing? Blessings. Now we can use it as a teaching point, you know, but seriously, like, how does that benefit us putting that kind of in-depth thought into Gucci Mane, which ain't even the real him anyway? Either he's been replaced or they screwed with his mind. Either way, he ain't the same guy. His body structure doesn't even look the same. But that, you know, and they've been cloning people since the 40s anyway. So they've got it perfected. I mean, this technology came from the heavens. So, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be, the way it's going to be. So, but yeah, I got us out here on every news outlet. Oh, Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. He done come out with a new song and da-da-da-da-da. Crazy, man. Crazy. They got us worrying about that, which again places our people in negative light, makes us look ignorant, and, you know, and for what? All this does is just keep us disconnected from Christ. It keeps him off from being the main focal point. And then it illustrates once again that we are an ignorant people, worrying about the wrong things. Those who are behind the orchestration of all these things, they're sitting in the background laughing, giggling, clapping their hands at what a magnificent job that they've done, you know, again. while making us a complete mockery in the process. Like, I got an issue with that, and everybody else should too. It's just a constant and continual reducing down of who we are. We are a great people, you know. I mean, we invented everything in this country, get none of the benefits, you know. But then once we start going on a tangent discussing these things, then they'll try to rebuttal with, oh, y'all need to just get over that. No, we're not getting over anything, because it's deeper than just black and white. You know, these are curses that we are under because of our disobedience to the Most High God in Christ. That's exactly what it is disobedience. So we're placed under these curses to where we are subservient to all these different nations. So this isn't nothing just along the lines of something black and white, because they know who we really truly are. And you know, we were, you know, even scripture says how we would be no more in remembrance. But in these last days and times, we'll come back to the knowledge of who we once were. So we need to keep that in mind and stop sitting up here allowing the mainstream media narratives to divert our attention away from Christ, because that's going to be our hedge moving forward in these times to come. Believe that. Pray on it. You know, life is not going to go back to the way which was. Those times are over with. So all these YouTubers and all these different people talking about your greater is coming. Well, if we're not talking about our greater coming on the other side of this thing, meaning hopefully we make it into the kingdom of God, you know, then all that other stuff is just nonsense. Because the fact of the matter is, how can our greater be coming here when we're at war? They're constantly implementing other, you know, strategic measures of attack against us to keep us reduced down to worrying about a poo shiesty and a Gucci Mane and some level of street credibility. Asking all these different people and celebrities and then these drug dealing legends that we've been duped and deceived into glorifying. Like, come on. So we're going to glorify these so-called would-be kingpins who've done nothing but harm our people. Like, that's crazy to me. And we glorify these people, and we riding around listening to the music, acting like these individuals are on some high level of street legendary status. Like, nah, miss me with the jokes. It's about Christ. I don't care about no Big Meech and all these other people that they hold their word to such a high value. Their word don't mean nothing to me, especially if it ain't got nothing to do with Christ. Because from where I'm sitting, what good have they done for our people? They painted us in a negative light. They got seduced by the powers that be into doing their part in aiding in the destruction of our people. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what it is at the end of the day. And it's crazy, man. And it ain't right. It's not right at all. Oh, Big Meech, would you cooperate if you were raw? Like, all these people sitting up here still trying to hold on to some level of street credibility and all this and that in the realm of business. Like, even in the realm of the street code of ethics, they don't even live up to it, because time and again we have been shown how they fold, you know. And then they prancing around here like they hardcore and everything else. They ain't got no training on no level, just some inserted street facade that they done been on to and still holding on to for dear life. Street code. Yeah, that code will get you wiped off the map every single time. And they show it to us every time how it does. So when people like that and these so-called drug dealing legends and like, I'm sorry, that just don't none of that mean nothing to me. Yeah, I love God too. He's gonna be our only way through these times. Why they've got people worrying about Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane and who's a snitch and who ain't, and like, it is crazy. Look at the stain that is just leaving on our people and in society as a whole. And what is it that they're trying to get our attention away from? That's the number one question. Because when they pumping a something like this on this level, you can bet your sweet bottom gluteal region there's something brewing that they don't want us focusing on. There's something brewing. There's something going on that they don't want us privy to. So that when they come in with the destruction, like 9/11, like 2020, like 2005, like I can go on and on, different events that just swept in abruptly with the neutralization. And you know, we got to be vigilant. We got to be focused on Christ. For real, because anybody not focusing on Christ or pretending like that don't matter, you're gonna be led straight to your demise under the guise of BS of some proportion. Trust me, you will be. There's gonna be a high percentage of people meet their demise in these times to come with everything going on. You know, this is biblical. It's always biblical anyway, but it is truly biblical. You know, and after the 2020 fiasco, most people aren't the same anyway, especially those who allow themselves to be injected with the stuff. Like, it is physically changing their bodies. It's altering their DNA. And like I said, when you look up COVID-19, spelled COVID-19, the definition of that, it says possession by an evil spirit. Now we know Lucifer and them has top scientists in his hierarchy of demonic guineas. So they've got these things down to a science. You know, that's another way to bring the Nephilim back. I'm saying they're here now, but I mean, that is just another way. So this zombie apocalypse narrative, it'll be kind of like that, but it's Nephilim, not zombie in the way in which like the movies presented. So, you know, just some things to think about. Because it's getting ready to get extra real out here. And we have to be ready. We have to be ready with the Most High guiding us and hedging us under his protection. That way we'll be okay and be navigated through these times to come and not be led to our demise worrying about a Pooh Shiesty and a Gucci Mane. Individuals who clearly aren't trying to live for Christ. They're pumping out negative music, because if they had anything positive, trust you me, the powers that don't be, they would be on their hides, attacking them, putting them through things to deplete their finances and just taking them through a barrage of attacks. You know, they implement the same tactics over and over. And they always will. That's why we need to get down with Christ on a real level and not just sitting up here talking the talk, but walking that thing in the manner in which we must. Because this get ready to get ugly. And when I say ugly, I mean on a whole nother scale of ugly. That's why it baffles me, people who will accept money to follow people around illegally. You know? Because then if it goes sideways, the people who hire them for the task at hand, they'll disavow all knowledge of any of that and leave them out to dry. And then some of them, they contain too much knowledge, they'll have to be gotten rid of. So it's like, you know, and then some of the people who are out here following people around, they're not even real human beings. There's a lot going on out here. So that's why it's just highly disrespectful when anybody's sitting up here giving any kind of acknowledgement to a Pooh Shiesty and a Gucci Mane and kidnappings and revelations of snitching, all this ridiculous stuff. All these people act like they just straight G in the street gangsters, but then an average trained soldier will neutralize them all with a little bit of nothing, with a little bit of effort. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They don't, that's, you know, boy, it's like, I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I contained that approach to life. And I feel sorry for people whose daily approach is that. And I think at one point in time, those of us who have changed, I mean, we bought into the deceptive measures at hand once upon a time too. That's how I can sit up here and say what I'm saying. So we got to, man, we need to be focusing on what are they diverting our attention away from. Something didn't happen. And what was the real nature behind this so-called Artemis shuttle fraudulent mission? Because we know good and well they really didn't go to no moon. Now they could have went through a portal and done something, you know, but all this nonsense, because it's like, why now? And then at the technological advancements that we contain here currently, but see, they know they cannot get through the firmament. They know that. Because see, they know all this knowledge changes everything and all the information that they've ever pumped out to the mainstream, starting at the age of adolescence. They know this. So, but on another note, the moon and the sun, they're inside of the firmament with us. They're not what they call in deep outer space. What a bunch of hogwash. And the so-called space is water, and we don't even know how deep the water is. Why they be sitting up here shooting nuclear weapons at that thing? Operation Fishbowl, Artichoke, Operation Dominic, trying to bust through the firmament. You know, this is why NASA was created anyway, so they can police the skies. I mean, look at normal air flight patterns. They'll take the long way when they can take the short way, but taking the short way will reveal a lot of the landscape that they've hidden off of the maps. So, you know, and there's portals all throughout the earth. All throughout the earth. They found all the access points. They have done that. You know, Satan's trying to get back up into the heavens on the north side, where the throne of the Almighty is. So there's a lot going on. And it's getting ready to get deep. And the question is, are you going to be ready? Are you going to give your life to Christ on a real level, turn away from sin, repent, and prepare? Because preparation is a must. When Noah was trying to tell everybody for 120 years what was coming, they laughed, scoffed, mocked, had jokes, running their gullets, thinking they was funny, calling him crazy and psycho. You know, the psychological narratives that are always placed out there when an individual has spiritual insight that those who mock and scoff don't have. So it's crazy. They don't have the spiritual insight to see what's going on. So therefore, they got to place a psychological narrative on an individual. Because that's what they're trying to do. You know, They want you separated from the Most High, because if you're separated from the Most High, now they can destroy you. So don't give them what they want. Stay in prayer. Stay hedged under the protection of the Most High. Because failure to do so in these times that we're in and to come is going to result in your rear end on sizzle mode. Compliments of you failing to do what's necessary. So let's quit giving our attention to just numbskull-like situations. Like, why are we even paying attention to things like that anyway? And then everybody coming forward with this G code of ethics, how they gonna stand on business and yada yada yada. You know, it's always our people though. We so tough against one another, so tough against each other, instead of being tough against the true enemy. You know, so tough against one another, but don't want to follow Christ. Insane. It is so insane to me. And it's like, you know, time is steadily ticking away. Steadily ticking away. So what are we going to do? Are we going to turn to Christ, or are we going to, you know, we're going to sit here and pretend like these things don't matter and give all of our attention to a Pooh Shiesty and a Gucci man? That is so, like, it's a complete slap in the face. Just to be all the way honest about the situation, it's a complete slap in the face with everything that's truly going on out here, and in every media outlet is pumping this nonsense. Why aren't they pumping nonsense about that war and the two aspects thereof? Why are they not pumping information about this being the end times, and this is the reason why things are going on in the manner in which they are? See, they don't want to pump that kind of action into the news. No, we got to worry about something in the realm of beef, because beef sells. You know, and it makes us look like ignorant piles of dung in the process. Like we're just a bunch of uneducated idiots gnawing on to anything that they distribute to us through the media. It's insane, and it's an insult. And then they add insult to injury. Now it's, oh, he done made a song called Crash Dummy. Yeah, you know, detailing the events of what unfolded. Like, man, who cares? Like, seriously. Like, why is so much focus being placed on this situation? What, they clearly don't want us paying attention somewhere about something. All we got to do is unearth it. That's it. Because this is just, man. At this stage in life, we should be able to see through the veil of deception with ease and with grace and elegance. We shouldn't be sitting here allowing ourselves to be deceived so easily, or our attention to be diverted away from what truly matters. And that always starts with Christ at the end of the day. But yeah, it's like that. But blessings to everybody. Y'all have a magnificent Sabbath. Man, I'll be back on here in a few minutes. You know me, I gotta take my little intermission. That's what it is. That said, have a magnificent Sabbath. Turn away from sin. Turn to Christ. Repent. Stop paying attention to these mainstream media narratives that just divulges, just negativity. through sheer ignorance. Y'all have a great day. I'll be back in a moment. Blessings.